On this week's Tuesday Talk, we are answering a question from one of you guys. This one about trucks and bed coverings, because you can either have an open bed, a flat cover, I think they're called a Tonneau, I'm not going to say that right, the flat cover, or you can have a shell like we do.
Shell or a cab from Lear. We have a Legend.
Yeah, so we wanted to know, why do people have the different ones? What's the advantages, disadvantages of having them, and why did we choose what we chose?
As always, we go as small as we possibly can. But we could not do the flat because we just have too much stuff. In our case, our truck also serves as our garage.
Yes.
So we have a lot of stuff that we have to store, like the generator and our hoses and our blocks and those kinds of things. Everything that doesn't fit in the Airstream goes in our truck. So we needed a larger cab, like you see behind us, to store all that stuff. And we could have gone even bigger.
We didn't, because we don't think we're going to need anything any bigger than that.
Yeah, there are some high-rise cabs that actually slope up on the way back. You can open up these huge windows and have all kinds of space on the inside. And if you need that's perfectly fine. But we just didn't need something quite that big.
So I would say not having any kind of cover is probably best for someone who's going to use their truck for something else, or a weekender, or something like that, right?
If you pull a fifth wheel,
then you
have no
one.
options.
Yes, very true.
That is one of the reasons why we did not choose a fifth wheel, because we wanted the storage in the truck, or in the bed of our truck rather. So I mean, having the hitch in the truck bed to pull a fifth wheel was just a non-starter for us.
Though a lot of fifth wheels have a lot more storage in the fifth wheel
themselves have
than
a
an
ton of
Airstream.
storage.
So
yeah.
That's another thing. So the Tonneau cover, or the flat cover, if that's all you're going to need, that's perfect, especially if you're not towing an Airstream, if you're towing another kind of trailer that has plenty of storage, so you're not going to need to do anything. Or if you want to put your bikes on top of that, because that makes it a lot easier to have a bike rack that's easy to get the bikes up on top of, instead of going all the way up on top of the shell, which is what we would have to do. There's a lot of reasons why the flat cover would actually work really well. You have better vision because you don't have the stuff blocking like the shell does. Though we have windows, you can get the shells without any windows, and then you have much worse vision.
Yes, and we paid extra for both the windows as well as the windows that actually flip up, so they act as doors.
Yeah.
We wanted access on all three accessible sides to reach in and grab stuff and put stuff in there and things like that. So we didn't necessarily have to have windows. At least as long as we had a door, we probably would have been okay. Yeah. But we kind of like being able to see in without actually opening up the door as well.
And it helps.
But they're tinted.
They are tinted, and it helps with actually driving the truck with or without the Airstream, because you're not quite as blind behind you.
Yeah, I can see all the way back.
Yeah.
When there's no Airstream behind us, of course.
Yeah.
So it acts just like a regular truck without any cap at all.
So if you have a lot you need to store in the bed of your truck, we'd recommend a shell of some sort. Whether that shell have windows or be solid probably depends on how high you plan to do things. We know people who have created storage systems inside of their shells in order to put bikes in there, in order to have stacked Tupperwares and all sorts of stuff. So it ends up being like this big storage area, and so they don't need windows, so they don't have them. So it really depends on what you need it for.
And some people are very organized.
Yes.
We are not so organized. Like I said, that's our garage, so stuff is kind of here and there.
Well,
back there,
we know exactly where it goes. It's just not like stacked and organized like you see some people do it. Everything has a spot.
So why have a cab at all? I think two reasons. One, protection from the weather.
Yes. And
protection from people.
That's true.
Because if you store a bunch of stuff back there,
or the Tonneau cover
protected
would do that
at
too.
All, right? But if you have more stuff
that could fit in one layer.
Yes. So I mean, technically, you don't necessarily have to have a cab, but we certainly wouldn't do this the way we do it without a cab.
No.
Because we don't want our stuff to be rained and snowed on, and we also don't want our stuff to be stolen.
Yes.
So the doors are lockable, of course.
Yes. And the Tonneau cover's the same, or the flat cover's the same way. That's lockable, so nobody can get into your stuff there either. It's just a question of whether the flat is enough for you, or if you want more like what we have. And that's really what it comes down to. And then nothing if obviously you have a fifth wheel, or if you need to use your truck for other things. I'm guessing, we've never had the flat cover. I'm guessing that can like roll in or something, and then you could use the truck to say haul gravel, if that's what I'm thinking. If like someone needs to use it for both work purposes and for traveling, then a flat cover might be better, because then you can hopefully open it up, use it to do whatever you need to do, keep it open, and then when you actually travel, close it again. So that might be an advantage there. Whereas the shell, you'd have to take the shell off in order to like pour a bunch of gravel and take the gravel somewhere in the truck.
You might wonder how much we paid for it. We got this brand new, painted, installed from a professional installer. I think it was about $2,000.
It was about $2,000
for hours, because we got the flip up windows and doors and that, and an LED light inside, so we can actually see what we're doing at night.
Yeah.
So all those things added up to about $2,000. But you can definitely do it cheaper, especially if you find used cabs. The only thing is the color of the cab might not match the color of your truck.
And the size.
And the size.
The size of our cab,
Sure.
our red cab from Clifford, did not fit this truck, even though they're both 2500s, because one was a Dodge and one was a GMC. So that's another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. But you could go cheaper if you wanted to. But
it all depends on how you're going to travel and what you have and what you need it for. So.
Yeah.
So that's it for this week's Tuesday Talk. If you have a question for a future Tuesday Talk, please leave it in the comments below, because we're always looking for new ideas. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we are traveling all over the place. And we will see you next time.
That's right.
Bye guys.